And then, yeah, they declared war on me, and I had to fight them, eventually taking their territories. I I had Pompeo, but then lost it to the Visigoths, and now I've retaken it. The Western separatists separated from, I don't know if it was the Visigoths or not, but they did separate from someone, and they've been a pain in the butt too because they've been helping the Visigoths fight me. As Latin Christians, you have no allies. The Roman expedition is Greek Christian. The Byzantine Roman Empire is also Greek Christian, but the other three barbaric kingdom factions, the Ostrogoths, Visigoths, and the Vandals, are Arian Christian. Latin Christian ends up becoming Catholic. Or was it Greek Christian? I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. Arian Christian is like anti-Trinity, and then Greek Christian is different from Latin Christian, obviously. I'm pretty sure Latin Christian becomes Catholic, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to Google it. So I was struggling against the Ostrogoths for a while. I had to rely on freemen, who I upgraded to Sword Heerban. And Sword Heerban were able to defeat the Milites Comitatenses. However, when they massed, because of their mass, their charge bonus, and their melee attack, I ended up having problems dealing with them as well, like those masses. Shield Wall wasn't too effective because they'd still do a horrendous amount of damage. However, the throwing axes that the Sword Heerban had were really good. On the other spectrum though, they didn't have a lot of armor. These elite Sword Heerban do. So I ended up getting into problems with crossbowmen and javelins who would always pick these guys off. And the spearmen were fine. I don't need elite Germanic spears, which is why I haven't teched to... where is it? Yeah, right here. I don't need Francisca Heerban either because Francisca Heerban don't have the scare trait. And that's why I've used Germanic warbands for the longest while. The mercenary Germanic warbands have more armor than the regular ones and are heavy, which is so weird. I don't understand why. It's like Rome 2 all over again, where the regular hoplites have 80 armor, but the mercenary ones have 75. That doesn't make any sense because they cost the same price. The mercenary hoplites should cost less than regular hoplites, but they don't. I think it was a mistake on CIA's part, but I'm not sure. And so I'm not going to be pointing fingers at them. The Western Separatists, I don't think they can tech, so they've been relying on the basic units like Germanic Levy, Germanic crossbows. And I mean, Germanic crossbows are good for killing infantry, but they have no armor, they have no missile block chance, obviously, because they're using a two-handed weapon. And their range is less than slingers, which causes a problem. However, I think they can kill slingers quicker than slingers can kill them, even though slingers have a better rate of fire. I'm going to let that rebel first, and then I'm going to take it. Over here, I'm starting to fight, have some problems.
Thirsty for battle.
And I think the biggest one is expanding into Hispania, or Spain. Because before Age of Charlemagne, the Visigoths got destroyed. I haven't read up too much about it. I only know that the Visigoths subjugated the Swabians, and that was the end of Swabi. Well, who cares, right? I don't need either right now, actually.
For the tribe!
This campaign has been very tough for me. It reminded me of the Frankish campaign, not the Frankish one, the Kingdom of Charlemagne campaign, where you kept on fighting internal problems. Like I had to fight the Separatists 3 times, and it was so bad once that they took 3 of my territories, and my income was like horrible.
For the Lord, our Savior!
Thankfully, it's not so bad now, but yeah. So I'm gonna fight this battle. However, one thing I've noticed with the Visigoths is that they're relying on these high melee attack, low melee defense units. En masse, high melee attack beats high melee defense. I mean, the combat triangle. Melee attack beats melee defense, melee defense... Well, actually, no, not melee defense so much. Actually, let's just say melee defense beats weapon damage because of your chance to hit, and weapon damage beats melee attack. Thracian Oathsworn, like Thracian warriors, have a high melee attack, but they also have 100 morale, so you can't rout them unless you kill the general, unless you're hitting them in the rear, unless you're using flaming and whistle shot, unless you do kill half of their unit in under a minute, which you can with crossbows. They have crossbows too, though. They also have you can't really rout them. These units will stay on the field right up until they're destroyed. That's what happens with 100 morale in this game. The general is a Visigothic general. He has a sword, not a spear, so he loses to my own general. He'll also lose to Germanic horsemen. But Germanic horsemen they're more of an infantry killer. They're good at killing infantry. Not so much cav, but yeah. I have to deal with what I have right now. Pikes are pretty easy. Spearmen, I have spearmen too, but more. The Palatino defectors have higher melee attack than usual. And I mean, they're kind of Roman. So they have missile weapons, and they have attacking testudo to boost up their melee defense and kill infantry killing power more, but at the cost of mobility. I'm probably going to stream until I get a minor victory in this campaign, because I know that you have to get a military or a cultural victory like in the Grand Campaign to actually win. And I think I'm going to be able to do that during this stream too. All I have to do is really get rid of the Visigoths, then I can start working on the Ostrogoths. Because I think I'm at war with the Vandals too, but they're less likely to attack me with my current situation. Okay, what cav does he have? Germanic Horsemen, right? Germanic Warband, Lancers. These guys are only good on the charge. And if they go right into Spearmen, which is never a good idea in any Total War game that has Spearmen. Not a good idea in Shogun 2, Rome 2, Attila, it doesn't matter. If they do go into Spearmen, because all Spearmen, well, almost all Spearmen have expert charge defense, and these guys are medium and these guys are heavy, they'll pretty much be close to white-hitting themselves. With the weapon damage, or melee damage as it's called, and charge bonus, they get 238 weapon or melee damage for 30 seconds. That's good enough to one hit themselves. If it doesn't, then it really hurts them. And because if you try to pull out cav in Age of Charlemagne Attila, like post Age of Charlemagne, what happens is you'll lose your cav. It's something I ended up learning from playing a battle. I think it was as the Franks, where that happened. Now I tend to have my crossbowmen in front and then the slingers in the back. This time I'm not going to bother to do that. I'm going to keep these crossbowmen in the back because they're high value. They can be very useful for whittling down these Oathsworn before they join in because they have a charge bonus of 95. And the problem with that is that they also have missiles, so it's possible that they can negate the expert charge defense by actually killing the model, which is never good. Of course, Elite Sword Hairband have throwing axes which do 100 armor piercing, which means that against a unit that doesn't have shields like Thracian Oathsworn, they're going to do full weapon damage. Plus, they also have a... Because it's a throwing axe, they have a bonus versus infantry of 25. Their reload time's also 4, so they can throw a lot of them if they're stationary. If they're not stationary, what ends up happening is they go into charging animation. Their charging animation when they're around 30 meters close to the enemy unit. And they throw their throwing axes at 50 meters. Whereas Thracian Oathsworns, if they're stationary, I think throw them at 80.
Spearman! Warband! Ready for battle! As you say! Riders, ready!
Now obviously I'm taking a big risk here by bringing only 3 units of Germanic horsemen because they're pretty good. They've been very useful for me in during this campaign, helping me kill the general, helping me route units a lot quicker and stuff like that.
My Christ, this enemy looks good enough to eat! I am ravenous for death and slaughter! They say we are savages. I fear they will meet a savage.
Look! Friendly banners! Our reinforcements arrive!
My sword. General!
Oh, whoops.
Missiles ready! Get running! Break battle group! Disbanded! Disbanding battle group!
We hunger for blood and battle!
Riders forwards!
Savior, protect us!
Riders advance!
Warriors, move out!
General!
Onagers in this game do much more damage than they do in Rome 2. Pretty much everything in this game does more damage. Crossbowmen weren't in Rome 2, but you can get them with a mod, thanks to somebody who modded it.
Stand your ground!
Thracian nobles, or as they're called here, Thracian Oathsworn, they do more charge damage, have better melee damage because the Falx does more in this game. And yeah, overall it's just more damage.
Where are the foes worthy to meet me?
See, what always worries me, besides Thracian Oathsworn, is these Palatino defectors because they have attacking testudo. They have decent melee defense, but their melee attack is atrocious. I think their downside is their melee defense, because their armor is less than what the Roman